for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships and Elimination Chamber match. Holy shit. This is where we get in the hyperbole for the rest of the podcast. I thought this match was going to be an absolutely epic banger. I've said it on Twitter countless times, at Wrestle Plug, by the way, if you're not already following us. I said that this match would be epic. I really did. The quality of the wrestlers involved and the quality of the tag teams ultimately involved was just too good for it not to be. I mean, look at the teams that are listed here. You've got Miz and Morrison. World class. You know, you're talking about a former WWE champion, his tag team partner for a long time back in the original run, and now again, you know, John Morrison, one of the best pure athletes I've seen in wrestling for so long. The Usos, for me, probably the best tag team in the world. It's between them and Proud and Powerful for me. I've got on record and said many a time I think the Usos are better than the Young Bucks. You can at me if you like, but you're not going to change my mind. The New Day are incredible. They stand for so much. They're a wonderful tag team. Lucha House Party, right, are massively underappreciated. Even more so when you see what happened in this match. But they're very competent, very exciting wrestlers. A little bit of the Humberto Carrillo about them. Wonderful athletes, not a great deal of charisma, but that doesn't matter in matches like this. This is the great equaliser for sports entertainment, are these more violent-based gimmick matches, because what they do is they take out a lot of the personality traits and put in a lot more of the aggression traits. And if you can rise to that occasion, you can really impress, even if you're not a big promo guy. We saw that with people like Chris Benoit. I've seen that before with guys like... A good example of that was Goldberg. Goldberg has always been a terrible promo. He's not very much of an entertainer. He's just a smash mouth, you know, beast of a man. 2003, he was inside the Elimination Chamber, I believe, at SummerSlam. And he just wrecked shop. It was easily his best match in that run, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. And he was just phenomenal, even though Triple H won the match. He just ran through the guys, and this is where you can unleash somebody who's not necessarily a good entertainer, but a really good powerhouse or a great wrestler. So many guys have made a name for themselves inside this chamber, and that was the case with Lucha House Party during this match. So yeah, absolutely stacked. Heavy Machinery have been on a roll. You got Rude and Ziggler, who for me are the only real guys in this match who aren't a tag team. Not for me, at least. If you come out, by the way, on your own, you're not a proper tag team for me. Now, I don't mind the Miz and Morrison doing that. They're probably the exception, just because they've already had quite a long history together. But I'm never a fan of singles wrestlers thrown together. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite. As much as I love Miz and Morrison, and they are the reigning champions, they don't feel as much like a tag team. They feel like two superstars that have come together. Whereas I don't see Rude and Ziggler as superstars. They're just scrubs in the middle of the card. Great wrestlers, always have been. I think they dropped the ball with Bobby Roode quite a bit, actually. But it is what it is. Also, Robert Roode, his gimmick of glorious, that's fucking boring now. Coming out looking like Big Tech Ric Flair with the robe, shouting glorious, saying glorious in your promos. And he's not even that bad at cutting promos, but there's no real content to it. There never is. It just gets boring, and it's just the same fucking shit every single week. Oh, when I get inside there, it'll be absolutely, pause for dramatic interpretation, glorious. Fuck off. It's fucking boring. Or at least it is to me. I'm bored of it. I really am. But this match. Hot take time. This for me is 5 stars. And for me, I'm trying to rack my brains. There have been some great Elimination Chamber matches. I think this might be the greatest Elimination Chamber of all time. And people are going to be like, what? It was a spot fest and all this. It's just my opinion. That's what subjective means. Go and look at it. But I think this is the best Elimination Chamber of all time. If not the best of all time, it's definitely the best of the modern era. No question. Of at least like the last 10 years. This match was mind-blowing. The amount of storytelling spots. Because I saw a lot of people saying, oh, this is just spots. Oh, it's just, clout wrestling. I saw some people using that term. And that's fine. Maybe it is in a certain way. But there are storylines that were spliced right through this, and all of them were told fantastically. To have the Usos and the New Day start this match with their legendary rivalry. For me, the best tag team rivalry, along with Lucha Brothers versus LAX, that has been seen in the modern era since the old, the sort of freeway that we used to love all the time that was Edge and Christian, the Dudleys and the Hardys. They start this match off. Great DNA, great identity. This shows how fickle and how quick wrestling fans forget. I saw a lot of people saying, the first 10 minutes of this match, until Heavy Machinery got in this match, it was quite boring. If you think New Day versus the Usos is boring, I can't help you. Sorry, but I can't. Top quality wrestlers. If you took Rude and Ziggler out of this match and put in the Revival, this would have been, without a shadow of a doubt, probably the most stacked tag team contest I've ever seen, probably in the history of WWE. Ridiculous level of talent in this match. Astonishing. Across the board. As much as I'm not a huge fan of Ziggler and Rude as a tag team, you can't deny how great they are as athletes, and the storytelling in this match, and the crazy spots that were spliced into it. It wasn't just a case of doing shit for the sake of it, as people are saying. I'm sorry, but that's not the case, at least not for me. I saw stories emanating throughout this. Heavy Machinery getting, of course, and the big story for this match for a lot of people was always going to be, was Otis going to get his hands on Dolph Ziggler? And he did. He gave him a bloody good shit kicking, but his overzealous nature actually cost him. That spot where he crashed out of the Elimination Chamber was utterly insane. That was so cool. And people are like, holy shit. And actually it was quite safe when you look back at it. You think, actually it was done quite well. But it was brilliantly delivered. At a time when the crowd were really hot as well. I don't think people appreciate how important timing is in wrestling. Hitting the spot at the right time. For instance, as a good example, Undertaker used to drag his opponents into the casket during a casket match. Now, if he does that literally at the start of the match, people don't care. You got to time that shit. And that's what these guys did so well. When they could feel the crowd peaking, they would then hit with another spot. The crowd just seemed utterly shell-shocked and superfluous at points, and yet they were just drawn right in at every moment. The crowd lost their fucking mind for this match, and they should do, because it was fucking incredible. This was fucking amazing. If Meltzer doesn't give this 5 stars, then he's clearly got his penis in AEW's pocket. I'm sorry, but this has to get 5 stars. Not only was it 30 minutes of pure athleticism, collision, violence, aggression, the storytelling aspects of it, from the New Day to the Usos renewing their rivalry. Miz and Morrison being the cheeky little heels, trying to somehow avoid as much physical contact as possible once they were inside the cage. The idea that Heavy Machinery would be waiting upon Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. I love the storyline behind Tucker as well. Everyone's talking about Otis, but Tucker has been amazing for this rivalry. You think about how much he's been Otis's wingman, helping him out at every turn, trying to look after him, trying to make him smile, trying to look after his best mate. It is so relatable to a wrestling fan. We've all got a best friend who looks after us in our time of need, and Tucker is Otis's best friend in his time of need. It's phenomenal storytelling, and it's so simple. This shows that you don't need to do too much. You don't need to throw in so many ridiculous layers and characters to get something over. This is so simple. You took my date. My best mate Tucker is looking after me. I want to kick your fucking ass. You stole my date. You stitched me up. Obviously, there's the extra layer of Sonya Deville in the text. It's the fact that Dolph Ziggler as well, very smartly in the promo before the match, he says like, shout out to my new blossoming romance, Mandy Rose, just to stoke the fires a little bit, wind up the crowd a bit, so they're like, you fucking dickhead, you stole Otis's love. This is fire, this rivalry. Absolute fire. And everyone can relate. Who hasn't been like Otis, that sort of underdog, that scrappy looking guy, somebody a bit different, you're not clean, you're not shiny, you're not beautiful like a Dolph Ziggler in the eyes of society. And you meet somebody that you really like, or you fancy a woman at school or college or whatever it may be, and she ends up with somebody else who looks shinier, who's better looking, some jock or some six-packed fool, and you think, that could have been my opportunity. Sadly not. That happens to so many people. We laugh and joke about this stuff, but it does. It's so relatable. It's so relatable. So many people will watch this rivalry and think I've been in Otis's position. You know, having a woman taken from me or stolen from me by a shinier looking man, or being outshone by somebody who doesn't have the amount of substance, who just has the looks. Dolph Ziggler plays his role beautifully in this, actually. This is probably the best Dolph Ziggler has done for a long time. I found it very boring for so long, but this is actually really, really well done. And that's just one element of this chamber match. Lince Dorado, you crazy motherfucker. He sort of jumped up on the cell, he was trying to run away, and I was like, where's he going? And I thought, he's probably going to jump off one of the pots again, or do something crazy like that. And I thought, okay, that'll be cool enough. Nah, Dorado's got even better ideas in mind. I'm going to scale to the roof of what is a much higher chamber, might I add, than the original. This is a really fucking high chamber. This is as high as a Hell in a Cell from what I can tell. And this fucking lunatic climbed up to the ceiling and shooting star presses onto everyone below. It's a moment for the ages. I'm not going to lie, I was taking a piss on Twitter going, oh look, it's Lucha House Party. Yawn! Because nobody really cares. Because they just don't do anything with them. They were 205 Live guys. But my god, they delivered from a wrestling standpoint in this match. Grand Metalik was fantastic as well. He was doing crazy stunts, but people are going to remember this shooting star press for a long time. Or at least they should, and they better do. Because it was crazy good. To be able to suspend yourself in that cage, and then flip yourself essentially inside out, and drop about 10, 15 feet like that. 15, maybe 20 feet. It's just fucking wild, man. It was wild. And then Lucha House Party immediately gets eliminated, which is even sadder. It's like, oh, go fuck yourself. Oh, Vince is back saying, Mexicans? I don't bloody think so. Get out. It's just, oh, what a time to eliminate the poor fuckers. They could have at least had some sort of upset, but I get it. I understand. They were always going to be treated as the weak link of this match. And what's great is the fact that all the guys in that cage were happy for them to get their shit in and really leave an indelible mark. And hopefully, because of it, they're going to get a little push. Because when you do wild shit like that, you'd be smart to capitalise on it. Tucker doing a somersault off the pod onto a load of guys as well was pretty fucking cool. When Heavy Machinery were cleaning house, you know, when Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode came into the match, obviously Heavy Machinery were the only ones standing. That story was really well told. Poor Tucker on his own got eliminated, and still, even after he got eliminated, was more interested in looking after Otis and hyping up the crowd and trying to get them behind him. He really is a fucking soldier, Tucker. I hope he gets the love he deserves, because Otis is so fucking over right now, and a lot of that is down to him and the amount of sacrifice that he's putting in to make him look even better. I love it. Absolutely love it. Hands off to you, Tucker. Well done, sir. The only criticism probably you could have of this match for me was that when Otis and Tucker left, the crowd were taken out of it a bit. I wasn't personally, but they were a little bit, you have to say. But they were still going fucking crazy. This is awesome chants must have broken out 6 times during this match. I think people had really slept on it. Miz and Morrison retain, ultimately, in a wonderful contest. It came down to them and the Usos, and a little part of me thought, oh my god, my boys, the Usos, they're going to win. The Usos are my favourite tactic. And I kind of thought, well, Miz and Morrison have had these tag belts, what, a week? You can't take them off them now. And they didn't. They had them retain. Sneaky bastards, getting the cheeky roller, as you would expect. But I liked it. I thought it was fantastic. This reminded you that when tag team wrestling is on point, there is nothing better on your show, and nothing will top it. This, for me, right, this Elimination Chamber match, I already said it's 5-star, I believe it is. For me, this Elimination Chamber match was akin to the set piece that was the TLC matches. They never main evented, but that didn't matter. They stole the fucking show, and this absolutely stole the fucking show. This was easily the match of the night. It was 5 stars. I think it's an all-time classic. I truly believe it might be the greatest Elimination Chamber match of all time. And that's fucking cool, and that's really important, because they've watered down a lot of things. They've ruined, for me, the Hell in a Cell concept so much. But when it comes to the Elimination Chamber, there is still an aura about it. It still has a bit of mystique, and the new chamber actually adds to that for me. And the people who are going inside these Elimination Chambers, they're delivering storylines and they're delivering great matches that stand the test of time still. Do you know what? I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brains thinking who was in Hell in a Cell last year. It's gone completely. Oh, yeah. I think it was Rollins and The Fiend. I mean, look at how stupid that ending was. They've just watered down the Hell in a Cell concept and ruined it so much over time. And that tends to be the case with these gimmick pay-per-views, but not for the Elimination Chamber. It still seems to deliver in a way that the rest of the gimmicks haven't. All the gimmicks seem to have either died or been watered down from becoming pay-per-views within themselves, and Elimination Chamber still, for me, stands the test of time. Absolutely fucking amazing. Loved it from start to finish. Congratulations to everyone involved. An utterly amazing match, and yeah, for me, 5 stars without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely awesome. 5 Jinders, if you will, for those of you who have been listening long term. Some people are like, what the fuck has Jinder Mahal got to do with this? We used to use Jinder Mahal as our rating, and for half a star, we had a Bollywood boy. Maybe we'll bring that back at some point. But yeah, Elimination Chamber, fucking killed it. Well done, lads.